We are Gold Ivy, a health company dedicated to simplifying health and wellness. Tune in as we search to find the deep, real, and raw truth. We're here to talk big, no room for small talk. It is our mission to inspire, seek growth, simplify the action steps, and build confidence.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold. Are you ready to step into your power? Now is the time. Join us on the fearless pursuit of self-discovery and growth.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production.
If you're a regular listener of the show, or you follow us on social media, you know I, Brooke, just ran my first marathon, and Andrea ran her 22nd state in her goal to run a marathon in every state. How did I go from barely getting out of bed to being able to run 26.2 miles? A customized training plan and coaching with Andrea. With my health concerns, it was important for me to make sure I crossed that finish line safely and confidently.
We are so excited to announce that we are now offering customized training plans. Whether you're wanting to run a 5K, 10K, half, or full marathon, we've got you covered. Get your customized training plan plus coaching to get you race ready and keep you motivated along the way. Prior to receiving your training plan, you will meet with me, Andrea, for a 15-minute call to discuss your goals, race details, and schedule your 3 coaching calls. You will receive a training plan for your race, tailored to your schedule, endurance, and cross-training preferences like yoga, biking, strength, or whatever movement you enjoy.
Coaching throughout your training will provide accountability, safety, and inspiration to keep you pursuing your training and race goals. With Andrea, you will connect your mind and body to maximize your race experience. And if you're looking for a custom training plan without coaching, we're offering that as well. Head over to the shop page on our website, goldivyhealthco.com, to learn more and get you across that finish line.
Something that has made a world of difference for us and many people we know over this past year has been getting our groceries delivered right to our door. The ability to get local, fresh groceries without us having to step foot into a grocery store has been something we are so grateful for. Convenience, price, and quality are extremely important to us, and that's why we love and support INSTACART. INSTACART can deliver to your front door in as little as 1 hour. You can shop multiple stores, see deals in your area to help you save money, and every item is hand-selected by shoppers based on your preferences. To start your 14-day free trial and to get free delivery on your first order over $35, follow the link in the show notes to let INSTACART know that we sent you and to help support the show. INSTACART. Never step foot in a grocery store ever again. And now to today's episode of Ivy Unleashed.
Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are so grateful that you are here with us today. We're talking about a topic that is really ringing true for us right now, something that we want to dive into because it's weighing heavy on us. And if you are living in today's world, it's probably heavy on you too.
Mm-hmm. And if it's not heavy on you, it should be, because it's something that eats up our time. It takes up our focus. It robs us of experiences. So we really want to talk about social media and how it plays into how we feel about ourselves, how we interact in the world, and dive into some research about it and give you some awesome tools that we've uncovered.
Yeah, we are so excited. We also, something that's taking a lot of our time right now is training for a marathon. If you guys have been following us on social media, you know that Andrew and I are both running Austin, Texas next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Well, by the time this airs, we'll have ran it.
Hopefully. Knock on wood.
They'll know. They'll already know what happened.
Yeah, so go check out our Instagram to see how that went. But we are right in the midst of the heaviness of it. I ran 20 on Sunday. God bless. I don't know how.
Yeah. Was that the first time you've ran 20, right?
Yeah.
Because your previous training, you got up to 18.
Mm-hmm. And then I had a vein collapse. So I was a little nervous that was going to happen. But we did it.
You ran 20 miles.
On a treadmill.
On a treadmill.
Indoors.
Yeah. I'm about to when we get done recording. So I'm just over the treadmill. I think it's probably because I'm in quarantine right now that I'm like, just get me out of the house. I want to run anywhere but on my treadmill. I'm just like,
will you run outside in this weather?
No.
So
I have to just suck it up. Mm-hmm. But normally it doesn't bother me this much. I think it might be because I don't have anything to watch right now. I don't have something that's really capturing my attention, and it needs to be high energy. Because if it's like Housewives or something catty, the energy brings me down. I need like Dancing with the Stars, some type of like dance show, or like The Challenge, but that gets too drama sometimes.
What are you going to watch today?
I don't know. I'm not going to start the run until I figure it out, though.
Tony Robbins.
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I recorded it for a reason.
Yeah.
If you guys don't follow Tony Robbins, highly recommend. He is the father of personal development, and he will light you up.
Yes.
He's what really got me through all of my long runs, because he's all about, you want more energy, you got to move your body. It's physical. You move your state, or you change your state, create more energy. So I think you should listen to Tony Robbins.
I'll try. The thing is, I like to watch people doing physical things. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do part of it with him, because I don't like listening to podcasts when I run or anything. I need to be like watching.
Well, what's different is he tells other people's stories. He brings them on. He starts with someone from the Goski method, which is all about like posture and spine health. And so one guy warms up every show with different exercises. So you get a little taste of different things.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try it.
I'm full of resources if you need them. Like anything to get me through these 20 miles. Mm-hmm. But no, we're a little nervous, but I'm so excited.
Yes.
To run this. And so give us a follow. Go check out how it went. I'm sure it'll be fine. We've got friends coming, family coming, and
I've never been to Austin either. I'm excited to check out the city.
I heard it's kind of overpopulated.
Oh, well, everyone's moving there.
Yeah.
But that's cool for us. I mean, my family's just getting over COVID, so I'm good. I probably
give me the people.
Give me all the people. Take me to a bar. I mean, if I'm going to go, now's the time.
What do you think your biggest takeaway from these 23 days in lockdown have been?
I started doing yoga every day. I needed something that was a change up from my way of being productive is clean my house, get in a run, do a bunch of Gold Ivy stuff. And I needed like something new or different that was a stress reliever. And Yoga with Adrienne's 30-day challenge, one of them, is helping me a lot. It's just something to do that's different, that's relaxing, and I'm loving it. And I think it's helping with my training, because right now it's heavy miles and I'm sore and my back kind of hurts. And so I've really liked doing that. And I think honestly, taking it day by day and chatting with my kids about, let's really help each other today. Like, let's be extra kind to each other, or let's give each other space if we need it. Really having those conversations, I think have helped a lot.
Because you, 3 kids in here. Justin was gone for the weekend. And then you worked. So you were taking client calls.
And the kids were sick. Yeah.
She's a superwoman.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I feel like life is all this big social experiment. Mm-hmm. And speaking of social experiment, while I've been home with them, we've had to rely on devices big time. I needed them to sit and watch TV and don't come to me, don't talk to me, and don't look at me for the next hour because I have a really important call with my boss or my clients or meetings. And so I've really had to rely on it. And it's definitely got me thinking about how important that is, how great it is to have educational shows for them. And then how tricky it can be, because my oldest is 9 and she likes watching YouTube. Mm-hmm. And it's super hard to monitor that. There's YouTube Kids, but still, I don't know every video she's clicking on. So I've been looking into parental controls, but it's still you don't know what they're watching at all times.
And one link could take you to TikTok or Instagram, and then it's, yeah.
Luckily she doesn't know the password to actually download any new apps, and she's responsible. But at the same time, she's getting close to that age where she's already asked me, when can I have my own TikTok?
What do you say to that?
Never. No. I'm like, Not yet, honey. You know, because I don't know the answer. I don't know when that will be. It feels like any time before you're out of the house is too soon, but I know when she's in her teenage years, everyone's going to have it, and it's going to be a way of falling behind your social crew if you don't know what's going on. And so it's just tough. I think making sure I'm friends with the kids' parents that she hangs out with, and that we're all kind of on the same page with checking their messages or what they're posting. I don't know how to do this.
Don't look at me. I mean, when I was that age, right? So when I was in middle school, I'm just thinking of my mother listening right now, and she's probably rolling her eyes because I would get in so much trouble growing up, because it was right when MySpace came out, and we weren't allowed to have it, but we did, and then got caught. Come home from school, Brooke, pull up your MySpace, and about shit my pants.
MySpace.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about MySpace.
But that was right when it was becoming a thing, and now everyone has it. And so exactly to your point, it's you fall behind, or do you take that risk of not knowing what they are watching, or they're spending so much time on that screen, and what is that doing to their brain, to their confidence, their self-esteem, their self-worth. And we're going to get into some of the research that we found, because it is scary, but I think it's important to be aware and make those educated decisions.
Yeah. What I found too with the screen time, which, you know, is separate from social media, but just the mood. Like if there's an extended period of time on it, like you have to break it up. So I would be like, okay, from 9 to 10, you guys can watch Sesame Street or whatever learning show they pick that day. And then from 10 to 11, you're going to work on your math workbook. So it's like not this hour, more than like an hour at a time, because they get so grumpy, lethargic if they don't get outside. And it's been really cold. Like it's been negative and super windy. So there were 2 days in a row they didn't go outside. And it was brutal. So it makes me think about grown-ups. We need the same thing.
I was going to say, my experience, if I'm on my phone or watching TV, right, you spend a Sunday of just binge watching, which it's also nice to have that break. But how do you feel? Whether you're a kid or a grown up, you need to get moving. You need to get outside. You need out of the house. It's hard when that's what our world has become. It's just virtual reality. And it's addicting, and it's meant to be addicting. That's the point of it. Yeah.
And I'm really glad we're talking about it, because I feel this responsibility with us being on social media. We post every day. We're part of the web of what people are addicted to. Scrolling on TikTok, we post every day. We post a reel every day. We post on our grid. And, you know, Brooke and I, our presence, we really want it to be like, we give you permission to turn it off. It is there for you to uplift you and empower you to take good care of yourself. And part of that is turning it off, you know? And so we want you to tune in. We want you to like our stuff. We want you to follow us. But the whole mission of that is to find that balance of, if I'm going to look at it, I'm going to look at people that are trying to help me figure out who I am and live a really fulfilling life. And you can't do that if you're not focusing on what's in front of you, you know, and we're all guilty of it. And I don't want anybody to feel bad, but I do want you to feel like there's some urgency to pay attention, to notice, to dig into how many hours am I on this phone. On Sunday, when you get your screen time report, look at it and beat it next week. I feel like if we don't pay attention to this now, there are going to be some significant effects on us, on the length of our life, on our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, spiritual health, you name it, and our kids. I just feel like we've got to talk about it and act on it in some way, you know, and it doesn't have to be anything big, but I definitely think we need to dig into what the research is telling us so that we can know some facts, we can break this down and live a bigger life that's more focused on what's in front of us.
Preach. Preach it. No, I love that. And, you know, the reason that we're talking about it is because it's something that we are trying to navigate as well, right? We are posting on social media. We are active, and We want to use our social platforms as a way to empower you and to make you feel that agency over your health. But as we are spending so much time, we do get caught up in it and we have to take that step back. And so we have put things in place that we're going to share with you today that have helped us, that the research shows helps. And although social media and your phone, it's addicting, dopamine hits that we'll get into, but there are settings that you can use that help tremendously. And so should we get into the research?
Yes, please. I don't even know what you're going to tell me, but I'm excited to learn.
For those of you who don't know, I am obsessed with mental health because of my own experience, right? Gut health, your brain gut axis, they are linked. And so I started developing severe anxiety and depression, and I never had my whole life. And I'm like, I know it's because my gut is off. And come to learn, yes. And so I feel I get pulled back into that negativity when I'm on my phone too much. And it's because it is addicting. You see things, that comparison rolls in, you want, and then if you're like me, okay, they look good, I want what they're wearing. Okay, open up Amazon, quick purchase, instant gratification, another dopamine hit. And so it's breaking that vicious cycle. And when I am in that cycle, I'm not conscious. I'm mindlessly scrolling. And so that first step is to be conscious of what you're doing. And a lot of times we're not. And that's what the research shows. And they want you to not be. They want you to have that instant gratification, those quick dopamine hits. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with The Social Dilemma on Netflix. If you are not, highly, highly recommend watching it. It's scary. It's terrifying knowing what they're doing and how it's affecting our brain. But it's empowering to know that you feel this way for a reason and there's something that you can do about it. And so just a little background information for those who haven't seen it. Basically, they interviewed a bunch of Silicon Valley insiders, so people from Twitter and Google and Facebook, and really talked about kind of the algorithm that they use on how to make it addicting and all of these psychological problems that have emerged from social media, from when it first started to now what they're seeing, right? Mental health crises in young kids, in adults, because we're seeing unrealistic
bodies,
you name it,
lifestyles, houses.
Yes. And then we feel like we're not good enough. There's no way I can achieve that, because to us, we see that and we're seeing their highlight reel. And I'm sure you've all heard about the highlight reel, but it is addicting and we want to see beautiful things again. It's that dopamine hit. But what we see is a false perception of happier, more fulfilling lives that aren't the case. We're not seeing their day-to-day, the work. We're seeing what they want them to see. And I'm sure when you post on social media, it's your highlight reel too, unless you're consciously posting your day-to-day. And so there's so much research out there on the negative effects of depression, anxiety, self-esteem, self-worth, just addicting behaviors. The University of Pennsylvania, they did a study that I found super interesting. And they showed that lower levels of social media use were tied to better mental health. And so they did this study and they had students decrease their screen time to just 30 minutes a day.
Wow.
Which is hard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just think about it. Take a minute right now. Think about how much time you spend on your phone. You get your screen report. If you don't get your screen report, just kind of guess, right? You probably do 30 minutes in one sitting multiple times a day. But dropping to 30 minutes a day had significant improvement in their overall well-being, their mood, their energy, their lust for life. And so getting down to 30 minutes can be difficult, and we're not saying go under 30, but there are ways that you can scale it back. And I do think that tuning into how you feel, right? Given an experiment, like Andrea said, this is one big social experiment, but set these limits for yourself that we're about to go into and notice, do you have ruminating thoughts? If you've ever dealt with anxiety or anxious thoughts, what do you notice? Your productivity, your focus, your overall mood and happiness, is it different? Because I can promise you it will be.
Right.
From my own personal experience, I see these things, the effects that they have all the different social media apps, just screen time in general. But as I was doing some research to find what is the average amount of time spent for just Americans, and over 2.5 hours a day.
Just on social media.
Just on social media.
Yeah. And that's not even including everything else you do on your phone, like texting people.
Calling.
Yeah.
FaceTime. Yeah. Just on these social media apps. So think about that. 2.5 hours that could be spent moving you forward.
I think about our clients. I mean, the biggest excuse in the book, hands down, is I don't have time. Yeah. And it's like, I know that in general, at least 2 hours of your day are on social media. Like, when does that happen?
I love that you said that, because one of the things that all of our clients talk about in addition to time is sleep and energy. And one study on Psychology Today showed that heavy usage of social media and digital devices, especially before bed, can negatively affect the quality and quantity of sleep, which can contribute towards headaches, migraines, problems with vision. And so it's that blue light, but it's also addicting, those dopamine hits that stimulate your brain and the pathways of your brain to wake up, and it's not ready for sleep because you're giving it these cues of, hey, it's time to wake up. Or it's time to be active and stimulated.
Yeah. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're grabbing your phone, also doing the same thing again, you're re-stimulating. People are like, well, I couldn't sleep, so I grab my phone. I mean, it's easy. It's right there. So we have tips to kind of walk you through how to take some steps in a direction that's going to help you. And if you think about sleep alone, just one goal around better sleep. Sleep affects everything. It affects our energy and our mood. Two things that, like, I can't think of any bigger reason to focus on quality sleep, right? And so, people talk about not having energy and not having time. Well, if you have a full night's rest and a clear mind, you're going to know what you want to do with your time, and you're going to be more intentional about it.
Mm-hmm. If you're spending 2.5 hours on social media, what if you were just to take a fourth of that and dedicate it to pursuing a goal or a dream or time with your family or something that actually fills you up? Mm-hmm. How much different could your life be?
And what's kind of cool too is if you set this goal of, okay, I know this time of day, I definitely scroll, I'm eating my lunch, I'm whatever it is when you do that, saying, okay, just 10 minutes, I'm going to dedicate to making a list of a few things I want to do, knowing that you're creating a better life for yourself just by setting the phone down, and then setting some goals and thinking about what you want to do with your life. 10 minutes, of 2.5 hours. And something that's tricky, anybody listening that's a business owner and social media is part of your business, it's tricky because, Brooke and I, I'm sure, spend that amount of time on social media too, especially because creating a TikTok takes forever. Like sometimes it's like, it's only 10 seconds, but I spent like an hour on this thing.
And it gives me the pop-up of your time limit's reached. I'm like, but I'm working.
Yeah. So it is hard if you have a business and you're doing social media, because you can always justify it, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm doing research. I'm looking at, this, or I was checking to see if I had any messages or whatever. And so Brooke and I definitely have to create some boundaries too around it. And we're always trying to figure out what that looks like and noticing, wow, I'm off today. I probably spent too much time on my phone.
I didn't move my body. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, you being a mom, because this is something I get from my clients all the time is, I get the kids to bed and I finally have my me time. And that's my time to scroll on my phone or watch TV. And that's my me time. What do you say to that?
Well, I say that's valid because you do need me time. And I think about what, is that what you enjoy doing the most is typically what I ask. Because you told me you also like doing this, and this. When would that fit in your day? Because it's not in your day. Where could that fit? And a lot of times it's like, well, that'd have to be on the weekends or it'd have to be in the morning. And so I kind of take it from like that scrolling or TV time has to be in that pocket into like, if you're going to fit in these things you really enjoy or you want for your me time, like, is that the only time or is it not? Because for me, I had to play with it, and I don't think morning is the only time to do it. But being a parent, it's really helpful to get to bed earlier and get up earlier because you don't know what's going to happen throughout the night. If you sit and scroll on your phone and you don't go to bed till 11, and then your kids like might have been up lately for some reason at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and you started instead of at 9 or 10, you started at 11 or 12 because you wanted to catch up on a show on Netflix. Like, it's tough. So I would say if it's possible to do it at a different time of day that doesn't affect your sleep, try that. Just start there. If it's your lunch hour, if it's morning, if it's right after work, before dinner, some time to carve out for yourself and using your support system to do that.
Yeah. Dedicated, intentional time. And a lot of people that I talk to, they don't want to think about it. They don't want to have this time scheduled in to scroll. And so what I encourage them to think about is, well, what are you losing out on? Right? By being more intentional with just 10 minutes of dedicated scroll time, you're filling that quote unquote need, but you're also opening up time to do something that you really love and that really does fill you up. So holding space for both, I do think it's possible. But again, I think it takes being intentional and owning and running your social media, not letting it run you, is a really powerful concept that, again, we're just playing with ourselves. And as we're all new to social media and the impacts it has, we have to start now because it's only going to get worse. We're only going to go more digital, little kids growing up. And so figuring out a system that works for you, so important. And we're going to share a little bit about what's currently working for us. And as always, take what feels good to you, what you want to try and experiment with. And if there's something that you found that works for you, please share it with us.
Yes. Love it. So Brooke and I like to make things easier on you and easy to remember. So at any point that you feel like this is something I want to work on and make a change with, we got this figured out for you. We thought about how to be more intentional with our time. And what this all comes down to is where we want to focus. And there's lots of different places to focus when you're thinking about social media and you're thinking about time on your phone. And so we broke it down in a way that's really easy to remember. Focus, Focus, and examples within each of these that you can take, like Brooke said, whatever works for you, what you feel like I could commit to that, and that might bring some more fulfillment to my life. It might help me focus on what's in front of me instead of my screen and hearing mommy, mommy, mommy 4 times before I even notice who's in front of me. Someone that really needs my love and attention, not my phone. Set your phone down. Okay, so starting with F is figure out. This is all about awareness on how much time you are spending on your phone. That's easy to figure out. You can look in your settings on your phone. You can click on screen time and you will get a full report. Sometimes you don't want to look at it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see the full honest picture. But that's where the power lies. It's just being honest. Like, we all do it. We're all on our phones, especially if you're in quarantine. It's probably up. And really getting awareness around, okay, how much time am I spending on these apps? And so I'd encourage you to list 3 things you want to make time for. And know that by setting some limitations on some apps, maybe, that you're allowing yourself more time to do what's actually important. Because there's always things that we want to be doing. I should be doing that. I've been wanting to meal plan. I've been wanting to work out more. I've been wanting to read. I've been wanting to catch up on these podcasts, whatever it is. And you're not, because you're mindlessly scrolling. And so listing those 3 things, getting some awareness on what I want to be doing and how I can look at the screen time and just be aware of it so I can set some goals around reducing it a little bit.
I love it.
All right. Oh, off limits. There's this phrase in my house called no phone zones.
No phone zone.
Yes. And the kids call me out on it. And I love it because it's important. They need to know they are more important than phones. And also,
say that again.
They need to know they are more important than your phones. And something I've started to do with this off limits idea is I think it's really important that if someone's in front of you, if you are with a person, if it's your friend, sister, brother, parent, coworker, I don't care who it is, and you are staring at your phone, I think you should tell the person you're with, what are you doing? Because your kid doesn't know you're answering a very important work email, And so I've been saying to Justin too, like, hey, he's saying your name. Can you just let him know what you're doing? Because I know Justin's sending something that's important, but Griffin doesn't know. He wants to play with his dad, right? And it's just,
Even to your significant other.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're sitting at a dinner table. There's 10 people. You think, oh, I'll just grab my phone. I wanted to just like see who liked my post or whatever. It's rude. So have some spaces that are off limits where it's non-negotiable. Some suggestions in my house, it's the dinner table, like just no phone zone there. I think it's a great idea for bedrooms. It's tricky though, because I do meditations with my kids on my phone. So that's kind of tough. Some people, your own bedroom so that your alarm clock is out of your room. You have to go get it.
Which is great as a way to break up with the snooze button.
Yeah.
I will say.
You know, cars, making sure you're not texting and driving. Obviously those things, they really should be off limits. There's always the excuse though, gotta use it for GPS or just gotta make this call quick or I gotta finish this text, but it's dangerous.
Well, and also you're only hurting yourself. We're not telling you can't have your phone in your bedroom, but if you didn't, what more could that open up?
Mm-hmm. Right. And what message are you sending to the people around you with your face buried in your phone? Even if it's for a second, it's just saying like, this is more important than time with you. Mm-hmm. And we all do it. And I think if we all made an effort to just set it down or like out of arm's reach, we have a habit, right? It's in our back pocket. It's on the chair. It's on the desk. It's next to us. I mean, you know, another thing I've been doing is when I'm working, I'm like, okay, for this next hour, I'm going to put my phone in another room so that I'm not just checking. That whole hour is dedicated to the work that I'm doing or something I'm creating. And so I think it's important to have off-limit spaces. Next up, C is for confidence check.
Ooh.
You have to know how your self-esteem and confidence is getting affected by social media. And if you feel like it's not, you're wrong because you just are.
Well, and maybe you don't notice it because you're following the right people, right? That are lifting you up, that you do feel like you can still have your authenticity and you're not comparing. Checking in with how you feel is so important. And if you are comparing and if you do feel jealous, well, that trigger is trying to tell you something. And that's something I've been working on is, why do I feel this way when I watch their posts? Why am I jealous? Well, because they're doing something I want to be doing. Okay, what can I learn from that?
What's tricky though is you're in a certain space in your healing journey. And when I say healing journey, like Brooke has healing her gut. We're all on a healing journey. We are all healing from trauma growing up. We are all healing from something. And I think if you know you're in a spot where you're easily triggered, unfollow. If you feel like you're, okay, like Brooke is following people to inspire our business and sometimes gets jealous. It's a little different where she's like, oh, let me investigate that jealousy. If you feel like you're in a spot where you're like, I will never have that. I will never look like that. Stop following that person until you feel like you can accept your body and love on it, or you're making progress towards goals. You want to be stronger, toner, or whatever. Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to transform your body into stronger, leaner. Like not a problem. We all have those feelings. But until you're in a space where you can look at someone with a six pack and it doesn't make you feel like shit, just unfollow them. You can go find them later.
Yes. I'm so glad you made that clarification.
Yeah.
That's so important.
It is important because I do think like I get confused sometimes when you talk about comparing with certain things because I feel like I'm in a spot where I don't do that much, where I'm like, yeah, of course they're like that. They've been doing this for 6 years, or whatever. And I just think that you have to dig into your personality and your self-esteem and rate it. Like in your own perception, what would a 10 in confidence look like? Like if you really thought about feeling 10, I am that confident. I'm a 10. I'm not arrogant. I just know I look good or I just feel good about that. Like where are you compared to that? And how is social media helping you or hurting you? And what adjustments can you make? Do you need to delete an entire app for a while? Do you need to take a full social media break?
Digital detox, baby.
Yeah. Do you feel lonely? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel negative? I mean, maybe take a day where you spent a lot of time on it and write down, top 3 feelings. Focus on a day where you really got outside and you really spent some time with some people. Write down your top 3 feelings. Just start to notice what it does to you. I mean, this research is based off of a lot of studies, You are not exempt from this. It's going to hit your self-esteem and your mental health. There is no way around it. So check your confidence, see if your energy is depleted, see if your peace is getting disturbed, and start to make some adjustments.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. U is upgrade your choices. So Brooke and I really like the idea of conscious following. So you may have started following someone 5 years ago and they're still on your list. Just every once in a while, just uncheck some people that bring nothing to your life. And so something I like to think about too, when you're thinking about upgrading your choices, is your values. What are your top 3 values in your life? So for me, it's faith, it's adventure, and it's
Brooke.
And the third one's connection. Those are like my top 3 things, right? And like I could probably justify connection with anything on social media, but do I truly feel a connection? Is someone influencing me to be more connected to my circle?
Adding value.
Yes.
To you.
Yeah. And so what are your top 3 values? And if the person you're following or business you're following does not represent at least one of them, then just get rid of them. Delete an app that doesn't align with your values. Just upgrade. Where can I just make a small upgrade? And something that I do that upgrades my life is
let's hear it.
Because you have to text me Snap because I don't have any notifications. The only notifications I keep on my phone are text and email. Just because we have important guests that are emailing us, I want to make sure I get back to them quickly. But I don't have any notifications for any apps. And that upgrades my life because it's less decisions I have to make. It's less guilt I have to have for clicking on it when I should be doing something with my kids or around my house or fitness-wise or adding to that time on my phone. And so that's a way that I've upgraded my choices on my phone. So whatever that looks like for you, just upgrade. Once a week, make an upgrade.
Not getting constantly zinged to look and say, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's that, what could that be that we need to look at it? And so that's an awesome way. Something I want to add too is if you don't want to unfollow someone because of whatever reason, you can hide their profile.
It's so interesting. I think with friends, we don't want to do it because we don't want the friend to know we aren't looking at their stuff or we don't want to see their stuff. But why do people do that with someone that they don't know? Like, why wouldn't you just unfollow? Don't really know the reason behind it.
Maybe they want to come back to it later or they don't want to forget about them. But just knowing that it is an option.
Yeah.
That you don't have to completely remove them. If you want to work on yourself for a little bit, take a digital detox from a specific profile, just hit hide and see what you notice.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's nice too that there are these options of setting limits on specific apps. So I don't want to get rid of Instagram, but I only want to allow myself an hour a day. So I put a limit on that. And what's nice too with those limits is you get a ding basically like, oh, time's going to be up in 10 minutes. Time's going to be up in 5 minutes and a minute or however that goes. But you can bypass it. So it's not like you're going to get taken off the app.
Just adding some friction.
Yes.
Making you aware.
Yes.
That's
so
really what
I
it's
think
doing.
that's important. I think some people think if you put time limits, you're donezo. All right. And then the last letter of focus is S, which stands for set a bedtime for your digital devices. So as Brooke said earlier, there's so many studies around the blue light, what it does to your brain. And it's so important that your brain has some time to shut down. And so literally saying, phone, you're going to bed at 9, or whatever time, aiming for 1 to 2 hours before bed. If you feel like that's overwhelming and unreasonable, start with 10 minutes, start with 20, work your way up to whatever feels like an improvement and doable for your life.
Also, we live in a world where we are constantly being bombarded by information. Our brain is trying to process what makes sense, how to protect us, and it's working really hard. And so it may sound silly, but just having compassion for what your brain is going through while you're looking at that screen and knowing like it needs a break. If you feel overwhelmed in any area of your life, your phone isn't helping you. And I do acknowledge that your work is on your phone, being a parent, like you can't not have your phone, but there are ways that you can be smart and diligent about it so that it is serving you, because social media, our phones are an awesome tool, but that's what we need to use them for, to help us and not hurt us.
Right. Yeah. So Brooke, I just want to encourage you to use focus. Use this FOCUS. Figure out off limits, confidence check, upgrade your choices, set a bedtime, and picking from, all the examples we gave of just how to focus on what's in front of you, how to focus on what you want out of your life, and just start small, just like little steps to kind of tweak this. Notice how you're feeling, notice how you want to feel, what you value, and are you ingesting that? Are you taking that in from social media, or do you need to do some upgrading?
Yeah. Are you feeling depleted? Mm-hmm. And what can you change to help fill you back up?
And from the hundreds of clients that Brooke and I talk to every single week, we know that energy is a problem, and this is something that we can all work on.
As Catherine would say, this is what we call an energy leak.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we recognize that, this is social media right here. Like, we are on a device for you, whether you're in your car or in your home or whatever you're doing. And we want you to continue to receive value from what we're talking about. Our mission is to empower you, and we are so grateful that this time that you are spending on social media is with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't want our content to deplete you or make you feel any less than. That is the opposite of what we want to do. And so know that we are grateful for your time, your energy, but we also understand that if you need a break, please take it. Mm-hmm. That it is only helping to serve you, and we are fully behind that. And if there's anything that you're doing that is helping, again, share with us. We would love to know. If you want to connect in other ways, we are on social media, but you can find us through our website. There's so many different ways to stay connected, and we don't plan on going anywhere. So if you need a little bit of break, take it.
And for your piece of gold this week is from the one and only Jen Sincero. Jen says, time wasted rationalizing the mediocre could be time spent creating the magnificent. This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.